Hello, everybody. Little late night stream here on FlurrySports, whether you are on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Uh, if you didn't hang with us last season during the Hard Knocks schedule, we go live immediately after Hard Knocks every single Tuesday. So if you're watching live, please jump in the chat, just hang out with us. It's going to be super laid back, giving our thoughts, just talking about stuff, maybe from a football perspective, maybe just as a fan perspective. If you're watching after the fact, just know you can join live then again Tuesday immediately following the show. But if you are watching this on YouTube, subscribe. Let us know in the comments what you thought of the episode, what your highlights were and stuff like that, because we are just going to talk through it. I think we'll just start at the beginning. But this was a super fun thing to do for us last season, and we will be doing it all the way up until the season opener. And just so you guys know, this is from the perspective of three Packer fans. We have a Packers podcast, Lombardi Sweep. So maybe some somber notes from us as we see on the big screen what is lost. You don't know what you have until it's gone. And I think maybe a lot of Packers Nation will be feeling that tonight, feeling it when you're watching Hard Knocks, because episode 1, and I assume probably the majority of this series for this season is going to be the Aaron Rodgers show. That was certainly the case tonight. I mean, opening, even before the music hits, we get flooded with Aaron Rodgers stuff. I did tweet I was a little upset there wasn't any Lombardi Sweep clips from it. I suppose maybe they weren't all positive. I have no idea, but I can assume. But opens with Aaron Rodgers, some Aaron Rodgers in the middle, some Aaron Rodgers at the end, everything Aaron Rodgers this episode. And initial thoughts from everybody. I personally loved it. I liked last season's Hard Knocks as well. I think these past two so far, obviously, we don't know what's going to go on for the rest of the time, but it feels like a massive upgrade over what we had with even the Cowboys. Cowboys was okay. The LA team stunk. The in-season teams the past few years have stunk. So far, this seems great. I'm very hopeful. I love the first episode. What was your thought, Luke?
Yep. Zach, you're right. It starts off hot. I'm with it. I'm feeling this season. You were listening off. The Raiders season was good a couple seasons back, but I think that's on the back of Antonio Brown. But I assume I'm going to be very biased. I'm going to like every single episode. Sorry, Zach, for giving me this job, but Aaron Rodgers is like my favorite person on earth.
Fair enough.
So it's gonna be hard for me to dislike this. I texted you guys before, like I'm interested in the whole quarterback dynamic. Obviously, we already know what happens to Strebler, right? But we have 4 quarterbacks that everyone probably should know. So that'd be a fun dynamic with the youth and the age and everything. It'll be great.
For me, obviously not going too deep into the Packers fans' perspective, but I think, everybody says it's refreshing that Aaron Rodgers is gone. I think it's refreshing to see him with a different team, like in the sense that ever since probably Bostic in 2014, ever since that fiasco, like it's been the same story for those who know football. This team is going to get to the precipice and they're going to lose at the last second because they're not good enough. And now we're seeing Rodgers with a team that could do it. I'm not saying they will, but they could do it. Seeing his, refreshed take on it, he gets a clean start. Hackett gets a clean start. You could say Zach Wilson gets a clean start. It just seems like everybody's just so happy there, and that could create some real problems for the rest of the AFC East.
It absolutely could. Obviously, we are going to be talking a lot about Aaron Rodgers this whole thing because Aaron Rodgers was the majority of the show. So let's see if we can group all of that second, because it's pretty much going to be the whole show. Let's start with some Saleh stuff. We got some Nathaniel Hackett stuff. We got other stuff. And then we'll go to Rodgers. And then at the end, for people who didn't see the tweet, I did buy a couple Mega Millions tickets. They're different, so only one's a winner. But we will be checking how much money I won. And again, once I win, quick trip for everybody. Bring out the rotisserie chickens. We are going to create a bird shortage. We're going to create a donut shortage. We're just going to get after it. But let's start. Again, they had the Aaron Rodgers start. But the first scene was what they do a lot of times, the coach addressing the team. I assume first day, second day, some time early in training camp, or maybe even OTAs, who knows, probably training camp. But Saleh is talking to the team. I think he did a good job. I think it was a cool speech talking about the eagle, talking about the crow. The only bird that can take down eagle's a crow. Eagle flies up, suffocates. What I will say is, I think you can't be. There's a lot of birds. There's a lot of animals. You can't be saying the Eagles are the top thing. They can't do that.
Literally the best team in the NFL.
True. Like, you can't. Good speech, good message. Felt awkward because obviously the Eagles are, a team you're probably going to face if you get to the Super Bowl at this point. Feels weird.
Yep. It sure does. What's interesting to me about Rob Saleh is it feels like, this is kind of his welcome to the world party. I feel like people know Rob Saleh but don't know Rob Saleh, which will be fun to see because he seems like, an energetic, upbeat guy. But at least from the first episode, I don't know about you guys, he's not a psychopath like Dan Campbell is, which I think may be missing on this season. Like Sauce Gardner is there, Aaron Rodgers is there. I'm curious to see where the characters are coming from on the show, and I would hope Rob Saleh is going to be one of them.
Yeah, and I think I watch a lot of football and I keep up with them, and obviously he was with the 49ers, so he got a lot of screen time. I think this Hard Knocks episode made him look really good too. I haven't kept a ton of tabs on him, but I always took him as a very intense defensive coordinator. And I mean, nobody's, very rarely are people super, super intense, but, it showed that he's got a fun side. Obviously, from a team aspect, like he can rally the troops, and he can also be, I don't want to say a friend, like, like this is all happy family, but like somebody that the players can come to too. So really showed off his personality. And that's one that, I was wondering about before. You can definitely build a team for this guy.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Where Saleh, when he was a coordinator, when he was with the 49ers, he was a psycho. Like, this isn't a look into what he was then. He was a psycho. He was energetic. He was intense. He was all of those things. This is a very, very good example of someone who changes their style, changes how their day to day when they become a head coach. Like, you can't. There's different ways to coach. Individual position coaches, very personable, very, very. They can go either direction. Coordinators is a different thing. Head coaches is a different thing. That's why, on Lombardi's sweep, talking about another Jets coach here, when Nathaniel Hackett first got the Bronco job, it's just like, that's just not going to work. Like, his personality, the way he does things, it's not going to work. We saw him again in Hard Knocks tonight, and I think it was a great PR for Nathaniel Hackett. I thought he did really good. He looks like the same. He is acting the same as he was as a coordinator with the Packers, and this personality works. Like, he's not a bad coach. He's a bad head coach. So Saleh, if he somehow reverts to being a coordinator someday again, I hope he doesn't. I think he's a great head coach. I like defensive head coaches anyway. Like, he's just more, even-headed here, where then he can have his defensive coordinator, who's also good, Ulbrich. He can be the psycho. Like, let him be the psycho. He brings the energy.
Well, I was going to add, with Nathaniel Hackett being at the Jets, is there anyone happier than Aaron Rodgers coming to the Jets and Nathaniel Hackett? Like this, like Rodgers is right here is just going to revive his career for the 2 or 3 years he's going to get with him in New York.
Yeah.
And when they were playing that game and Rodgers yelled out Sean Payton to try to distract him, like, that's something that like every guy watching that knows about. When you're around with your buddies, drunk or playing games, and somebody says something to push the envelope, and you all just start dying laughing. Like, those are the closest friends. They clearly love each other. They clearly get along, and I mean, that's how you win.
And I mean, this is truly the only situation where Hackett could have gone to, I personally believe, because he comes in. Aaron Rodgers obviously is the head of the table here, and he immediately signs off on Hackett. Not only just signs off on Hackett, he says, that's my guy.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the entire team is convinced. Like, there's no doubters in that locker room. I guarantee it. Hackett's the guy. He's fine. But if he was a coordinator or even a position coach anywhere else and that Sean Payton shit came out, people would be like, oh, shit, Sean Payton's a respected guy. And now if there's any bad call, any bad anything with Hackett in practice and games and whatever, people are going to be raising an eyebrow. There's going to be doubts, and perfect situation. I think it's going to work with the Jets. He seems intense. He's keeping it lighthearted, but still the entire team, even Rodgers. I mean, Rodgers kind of has this personality to start with anyway, but they all have that Saleh personality, which, like, I was just trying to think the entire time watching how to describe it, but it's like a calculated confidence. Like, this team is confident. This team knows they're the shit. There's a little bit of an arrogance, a good arrogance you have to be a superstar. And I think Saleh has it. I think Rodgers has it. I think Sauce has it. You know, this whole team is following in the footsteps. And by the way, you look at Tampa, when Tampa got Tom Brady, the way everybody talked, the way everybody acted was this way. The Rams, when they got Jared Goff out of town, Matthew Stafford in, the way Sean McVay acted, the way Cooper Kupp, everybody there acted, same exact way. Denver last year was not the same. Not the same. You know, they bring in a veteran. There was still weird. There was no confidence from anybody. It was just like, yeah, we should be good, but there's no confidence. This team has fucking swag. This team has confidence, and I think, like, they're going to be really. There's no doubt they're going to be really good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. One point that felt like an unnecessary shot at Jared Goff, and the second point was, yes, this is a very young team. Young players are very fun to have. All the energy is going all the time. All the arrogance is going all the time. You bring in the greatest quarterback of all time, who's just like his job is obviously, be a quarterback, but really right now his job is kind of, you're with the young guys, go hang out with them, go build a team. That's got to be so much fucking fun for Aaron Rodgers, don't you think?
It's fun for Rodgers. I'm wondering, I don't think it's going to happen, but like the way he's mentoring Wilson and kind of mentoring some of these other guys too, if he has a lot of fun with this and success with this, I almost wonder if he does decide maybe he can become a coach. If he can, cut in line, which some people are doing now. Like, if he doesn't have to be a position coach and work his way up, which he shouldn't have to. Like, I think it's a situation where he could. I like everything I'm seeing. And Joe, just so you know, we do see you in chat. Hard Knocks all about Rodgers. That's kind of how we started this off. Episode 1, clearly the Aaron Rodgers show. I would assume, yeah. You can't have this happen and just not address it.
It's the best player they've ever had on Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I mean, big reason why the voice of God is at practice for the first time for Hard Knocks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he respects the history of the game, and clearly, in my personal opinion, this is the best quarterback of all time. Not the greatest, because he doesn't have the accolades, but it's the best, most talented quarterback of all time. And I'm not sure if there's a close second, personally. I think Mahomes is on his way, but he's just not there.
Well, and on top of that confidence, like, this team, I feel like Rodgers is a good shakeup too. Like, this team, I don't want to say they needed a culture shock, but like, they started 5-2, lost 8 of their next 10, but like 5 of those were by 1 possession. And so now you have like a kind of a little shake up there with somebody that's that good. It's like, oh yeah, like that's the only reason we barely missed the playoffs with that stretch. Now we got the best quarterback of all time. Like, it's not even a question anymore.
And just to add on top of that, like, this is how much I miss college basketball, guys. I'm gonna make a college basketball metaphor here. Like, what's the thing? Like, when you pick teams for the tournament, you need an experienced lead guard. I mean, that's what this Jets team needed, was an experienced leader, and that's exactly what they got. Like, I don't understand how people think this team's coming last in the division. How people think it's overhyped. This is a very fucking good football team. They were very good last year. You add on, a top 15 player of all time. It'll be fun for Jets fans.
I mean, they said it in Hard Knocks too, about this is a young team, and they're not wrong. And side note, how insane are the past 2 off seasons for the Jets? Like, just thinking of their rookie class last year, than Aaron Rodgers this year. Obviously, they have a core of very young, very talented people, but it's a mix. Like, they built it the right way. Rodgers, you got Cobb, you got the tight ends are both veterans. You got some offensive linemen that are mixed in with Billy Turner as a veteran. Go to the defense, not talked about yet, maybe not talked about at all in Hard Knocks this year. Adrian Amos is there.
Yep.
Like, that's a fantastic leader. They got guys over there. But Trevor, you don't even need to hesitate to say, I don't know if they needed a culture shock. They did. They needed somebody to completely change everything, slap him in the face. They needed to jump in the cold bath. They needed to do whatever. And you can see it when Quinnen Williams says, "Thank you, Aaron Rodgers, for coming to help us." Like that's he speaks for everybody in the building, the cooks, the trainers, the coaches, everybody. I guarantee it.
Well, and also, I mean, like, that's not fake, like grabbing the mic saying everything on like social media about him is wrong. Like, that's a guy who just sees him as like, what the fuck have people been talking about here? Like if like nobody, that was unprompted, nobody asked that. He's just like, guys, we got something here.
And just so, I mean, I'll get ahead of this by saying, there's going to be a lot of anti-Rodgers, a lot of negative Rodgers people, and that's fine. Like they're just not going to change. I live with people. I know people around here. It's going to be the same thing. Whenever I defend Aaron Rodgers, I get the same stuff. It's going to be the same here. And I will say Aaron Rodgers has changed. I'm not going to say this has been Aaron Rodgers for 20 years in the NFL, because when he was a kid in the NFL, he was an arrogant little prick. Like, we don't need to, when people like us defend Aaron Rodgers, we're not saying that didn't happen, but we got to stop judging him as the 26-year-old when very clearly what you saw in Hard Knocks tonight or whenever you watched it, that's real. And that's how he's been as Packer fans, as people who have been in the building, in the locker room, been around Aaron Rodgers. Luke, you talked to him about not football for a while. Like, this is the true, authentic Aaron Rodgers, and you're going to continue to see it. And it's a very, very, very big deal. And it's the exact opposite of how Zach Wilson acted last year from what we see. Clearly, the team turned on Zach Wilson last year, and Aaron Rodgers is talking to everybody, being the true leader, he's trying to get people to go talk to the voice of God. He's doing everything right, man. Like, stop judging him as the past Aaron Rodgers, judge him on the current Aaron Rodgers. And if you do, I don't know how you don't love him.
Right.
Well, and it's funny too, because it's always like, innocent until proven guilty. But then when it comes to, he's changed. We don't like that when athletes change up their pace. Like when people found out Ndamukong Suh is a shrewd businessman and not only a psycho, we didn't like that. We didn't like talking about it.
I mean, I still like to think Ndamukong Suh is the same Ndamukong Suh in the business room. He just kind of threatens people, bullies people. He's had to have threatened Warren Buffett, right? Like, he's buddy with Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett's terrified of Ndamukong Suh. There's no doubt about it.
He's like threatened him, but not like really. But like Warren Buffett's like, "Oh, that was kind of uncomfortable."
Yeah, like Sue is definitely making a joke when he grabbed Warren Buffett's arm and it's still bruised to this day.
Right.
Yeah, stuff like that. But I mean, back to Hard Knocks. To touch on something not Aaron Rodgers, we got some Sauce Gardner tonight. What I wrote down is I feel like tonight we got Ahmad Gardner.
Yep,
that's his real name. We're going to get Sauce in a couple episodes here, and it's going to be completely different.
There's going to be a Sauce episode.
Yeah, he did not want to be at that graduation.
No. Nick Van Exel, though, shout out.
Who had Nick Van Exel on their bingo card tonight, man? That was a shock, huh?
Yeah.
And they must have put the athletes last because none of their last names are even close.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it's cool that they kind of built this as the base of what Sauce Gardner is tonight.
Correct.
Like, he's a human, good kid.
You get to see his mom, his grandma.
Absolutely. Graduated. He's educated. People are going to love that, the old school football people. And then next week, he's going to have, his grill in. He's going to be fucking screaming at somebody. It's going to be great.
It's going to be incredible.
Is there anything non-Aaron Rodgers before we just get to Aaron Rodgers?
Well, I mean, it's cool, right? I hope they spend a little bit more time on it, right? The one-on-ones or the whatever you want to say with Garrett Wilson and Sauce Gardner. That obviously feels like a matchup that the Jets are going to keep for a very long time on their team, and that feels like two Hall of Famers turning each other into Hall of Famers. So they're both Rookie of the Year last year, like you said, Zach. The Jets have been killing off seasons lately. And I, like I've been saying, I wish I was a Jets fan right now because it's fucking exciting.
Yeah. It's hard not. I'm interested from other people's perspective. We're Packer fans. We love Aaron Rodgers, I think.
Yes.
Maybe not first and foremost, but we definitely love him. We're cheering for him. I want to know people who had no connection to Aaron Rodgers, really no connection to Green Bay or the Jets. Like, are you guys cheering for the Jets this year? Because I am, just because I love Aaron Rodgers. I love the people over there, and I want Aaron Rodgers to get a ring badly.
Yep.
Another one.
Yep.
But I mean, like, if you're a Bronco fan, if you're whatever, like, what I want to know what your feelings are, because I have no idea.
Yeah, and you know it's crazy too that I guess this kind of transitions us into Aaron Rodgers here. But what's kind of crazy is you're watching on Hard Knocks. I'm sure you guys have been reading all the Jets writers and everything. Like, they're all experiencing this for the first time, and it's fascinating watching that happen as people who've had that for the last 15 years.
Yeah, and it's great seeing it. I mean, it's like they just saw God in the flesh. Like, it's like, oh, so this guy, maybe we should judge him, more for his on the field stuff and not worry about, ayahuasca trips or girlfriends. Or it's crazy that the center of who he is should be on the football field. Not that he's just a football player, but like, let's get back to focusing on that.
And I mean, quick side note, why do we care about girlfriends? Why do we care about the way he spends his free time? When he's truly not hurting anybody.
They've been reporting that shit since like 2011. It's been insane. No other quarterback they do that with. They called him gay for like 2 years. People forget that.
People thought he was sleeping with Ryan Braun back in the day.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. But that's super weird. But yeah, there's going to be Packer haters that watch this and they're going to say everyone's sucking off Aaron Rodgers. It's really weird. They hate it. Like, oh, it's the Aaron Rodgers show. So arrogant. Look, he's so great. People are going to say that, but it's what you said. It's the people seeing this for the first time, seeing greatness in person for the first time. You saw in the defensive meeting, they're like, we're going to be in every fucking game because he can make this throw that nobody else can do.
Right.
That's real.
Yeah.
Like, it's truly like Giannis going to the Bucks, or like Shohei Ohtani going to like the fucking Marlins. Like, it's like, holy shit, we got a team now.
It's Tom Brady going to the Bucks. It's like, oh shit, this is the guy who did this and this and this. It's the cook saying, oh shit, the meals need to be right. Everyone's trying to make sure they aren't the ones that screw up. Yep. And defensively, like what they're preaching in that meeting truly is just do your job and we're going to win. Because if we don't mess up, Aaron Rodgers is going to do that. And it's going to be fine. No, we're not like needing to score a defensive touchdown to win anymore. Just don't give up the big play. Don't make the mistake. Don't do the personal foul. And we're going to be in the game with a chance no matter who the opponent is, which is new for that organization. Like, their next best quarterback of all time is probably it's Brett Favre, but it's probably Mark Sanchez. It's not fucking Broadway Joe. He's terrible. He wasn't good at football.
Mike White.
But like Mike, true. Possibly Mike White, Joe Flacco for a hot sec. I mean, the numbers don't lie.
Well, and that was, I think, an eye-opening part for a lot of fans, like, because a lot of people like to say, like, break down film, acting like they know what they're talking about. When they showed that film, the back shoulder pass and the goal line situation across the field, and the players on defense that were in a great defense last year go, holy shit, how do you do that? That tells you just how insane that basic-looking throw is.
It looks effortless. He also, we've seen anyone who's ever been to a Packers training camp as well, seeing Rodgers throw it into that net. Like, truly, we completely desensitized to it. Which is like that throw Aaron Rodgers did. First off, insane. Second off, probably first try, because that's what he did in Green Bay. At least that's what I've seen. Like, he just steps out there, he fucking throws it over the sun, and it comes back down and goes into the net. And that whole team truly is like, oh, okay, let's get in our fucking warm-up slides. Let's not fuck up today. Well, that's what everyone's thinking.
I mean, it's so desensitized. Like, if Love doesn't throw 5 straight in the net, I'm like, this dude's a bum. He sucks. He can't play football. And it's an absurd pass to even make once.
That was part of the issue when Love was a rookie. And obviously, I torched him for it. Like, I'm not saying I was above this. But Rodgers is throwing it 80 yards and dinging it off the upright. He's doing the same thing and dropping it in the net. And then Jordan Love has a pass to the flat that bounces there. Like, it looked really bad, set him up terribly. No one's Aaron Rodgers is kind of the point. Like, it's truly remarkable. And a lot of people in that building last year thought they were a quarterback away, and they didn't just upgrade the quarterback position. They got a generational talent, leader, everything.
Culture changer.
Even like, sounds like Rodgers is going to be there for multiple years. If Rodgers is there for 1 year, he leaves, a path of just, he changed a lot. And to that point too, if Zach Wilson ever gets into the Hall of Fame, they're going to reveal the bust, and it's going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing Zach Wilson could ever do in his football career ever again that's positive that Rodgers won't be credited for. And that kind of sucks, but it's kind of funny too.
Well, Zach, I was just gonna bring up, not only does it change the Jets, it like changes Zach Wilson's life. Now he's guaranteed a contract after this, no matter what happens.
True. Yeah, not necessarily from someone's going to pay him.
Someone will give him a contract
for sure.
And I mean, for Zach Wilson, I mean, and it is hard to go from franchise to backup, but I think a part of him's got to be like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. All the pressure's off his shoulder. He's getting paid. He can finally absorb it and learn. Like, he got thrown into this situation from BYU. I don't care what anybody says. That's never going to work, especially not with the Jets, not with that team. So now he can finally kind of, I don't want to say get up to speed, but get up to speed and learn behind the greatest of all time. And like you said, Luke, have a contract. I mean, shit, it's been laid out a perfect path for him.
Yeah, you can't go from playing Pee-wee football to playing in the NFL. And that's kind of what he did.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been the same thing if Jordan Love went from Utah State to starting immediately. It's the same thing when anybody like that. And, Drew Lock kind of had the same thing with, what was he, Missouri, something like that. But, yeah, like, someone's going to pay Zach Wilson now. It sounds like his confidence was truly shot.
Yeah.
Like, truly nothing. So, yeah, he's probably feeling at least somewhat okay about it. And you have to, like, again, this is the perfect situation for him too, because if they brought in a Derek Carr, that's different. Mm-hmm. Derek Carr's proven that he's led teams to winning, seasons. He was an MVP candidate the one year he got hurt, whatever. Aaron Rodgers, at the very least, like, that's the greatest of all time. I'm not him. Fine. Yep. Maybe I'm second greatest of all time. Like, he could at least think that. If he's that delusional, he could at least justify that. You know what I mean? But Derek Carr is like, I just saw Derek Carr not show up to work last season because he was, they changed the locks on him. So, I mean, great situation for Zach Wilson. Yep. Hopefully he doesn't squander it. You know what I mean? Because I think he's extremely talented. He's still do.
Arm talent is awesome. I mean, I'm rooting for Zach Wilson.
I am too. And he is, like, seeing him next to Aaron Rodgers, he's bigger than I thought he was too.
Yep.
Like, he's the same size, it seems.
Yep.
Like.
Yep.
I don't know. In my mind, it just felt like he was shorter. I don't know.
It's because he's young. Feels like he's a kid.
Maybe.
Also, seeing him talk a little shit to Aaron Rodgers tells me he's very comfortable, and that's a huge plus. Like, if this dude's worried about, like, scrambling behind Rodgers, picking up his trash as he throws it, that's not going to work. But if that's a good relationship, he'll be just fine.
That's what I'm telling you. Like, I hope they lean into that side of him.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're not going to get much more Zach Wilson, but I hope we do.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we do. But there's a lot of personalities on this team. There's a lot that's going to happen. Let's just talk about quickly what we hope to see, maybe episode 2 or the rest of the time. I know Joe in the chat just says Sauce needs to provide minimum 7 interceptions per season if they're talking about Hall of Fame. I mean, I know Coward today, it wasn't Sauce, I don't think. But Coward today talked about current NFL players who are going to the Hall of Fame, and he included Pat Surtain as in the waiting room. And Sauce Gardner's probably close to the same level of Surtain. Anyone who's talking about Hall of Fame for either of those two guys needs to shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, relax. You need to have sustained success at the highest of level. Sterling Sharp shows that, how he's not in the NFL Hall of Fame. And he was a generational player. Sauce can be an unbelievable player and not make it. Especially, if he doesn't have the all pros because he has to make it over Surtain and like stuff like that. Like, you got to remember, he's competing with some dogs in the AFC. Like there's some good fucking players in the AFC.
Fucking A,
So, and that hurts your legacy. So look at AJ Hawk's legacy. Anyone who watched AJ Hawk play, fucking monster. He had to compete against Patrick Willis, Brian Urlacher, like people like that. That's tough because they're also very good at football.
Yep.
But talking about what I hope to see again, Sauce. I want to see Sauce.
Yeah, he needs more sauce.
Him.
Always more sauce.
Yeah, I need people chirping. I'd like to see Amos just because I like him.
Yeah, I'd like to see Cobb as well.
Cobb has a story that they will tell. They have to.
Yep.
I don't think I care about seeing Alan Lazard.
No.
Personally.
Nope.
He's really uninteresting to me.
I want to see Quinnen Williams.
Yes, fucking love Quinnen Williams. He is so good at football.
Yeah, he is.
Funny dude too. Quinnen. You know who I'd like to see? Corey Davis.
Yeah, if he's alive.
I think he was the guy in the dark next to Rodgers, right?
I think so, yeah.
I hope that's not the most we see of Corey Davis.
Who are we going to give the David Blau award to? The guy who you don't want to see but will be pushed way too hard.
They didn't really push anyone on us yet. The linebacker.
Chaz Surratt.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It was.
That was good to see. Like, I like him, so it was cool to, like, I completely forgot about him. That's so interesting where clearly that's Saleh's guy. Like,
right.
He said that. Like, that's very interesting to me because he was a guy who had so much potential but was going to be a project. It makes me want to buy the stock on Chaz Surratt. You know
there
what
you
I mean?
go.
Like, he's going to be very good.
It's his spotlight right now.
It is. It'll be interesting to see what the Jets do when it appears the verbiage is when they bring in a veteran running back. For some reason, they seem pretty interested in doing that, whether it's Josh Jacobs, whether it is Dalvin Cook, whether it's somebody like that. That'll be interesting because that running back room's already stacked.
Yeah. I have another is like I like Garrett Wilson. I don't feel like they need to push it on us. He doesn't feel like he has much of a character personality.
He's kind of goofy.
Yeah. He just seems like a normal guy.
Right, yeah. Not necessarily in a bad way.
Right.
He's kind of goofy. I don't think they'll push him, but I don't want to see Becton whatsoever. I'm done with him. I don't want to see him.
I still think he's going to be the best tackle of all time.
I want to see Joe Tittman, backup center there from the Badgers.
Yeah.
That dude is a monster. Please show me him.
They should have showed him with Joe Thomas.
They should have. Who's going to be the annoying guy? I could see. No, I was going to say Tyler Conklin. That's not fair.
I don't know. Like this seems like I've been saying, this is everyone's spotlight. It kind of feels like this is a Jet spotlight. Like, of course, everyone knows Aaron Rodgers. Of course, everyone knows Sauce. But like, how many other people do you know their personality? Do you know anything? Do you hear anything about them? So I don't necessarily know that you'll be able to find someone right now, Zach. I think it'll come up organically, and I think that'll be what's fun about this season.
I think it could be Michael Carter.
Yeah.
If he keeps thinking he's like the guy.
I hope so.
Read the room. Read the room, Michael. Take a step back. It's going to be okay. Who do you think, Trevor, since you brought it up?
I was going to say Michael Carter or Strevler.
I mean, Strevler's gone now, so.
Yeah.
Unless he could keep showing up. That could be fun. That's a fun bit. If he keeps showing up to practice in a different jersey, that's cool. Agreed. That's a very David Blau thing to do. I would say.
Like fucking Carson Wentz wearing his Frankenstein outfit.
Or Russell Wilson showing up to training camp in his own jersey.
Crazy.
Remember that last year?
Crazy.
Insane. Okay. Anything else before I win the lottery here?
No.
Are we getting close?
It's been drawn.
Oh,
yeah, it's 10 o'clock. Pull it up on the big screen.
No. Whenever I do that on this program, it glitches. So the numbers 13, 19, 20, 32, 33, 14.
13 and 32 are good numbers. That's what I wore in high school.
Okay. I don't have the mega number.
God damn it.
It appears. I do have a 13.
Yep, told you.
I don't have any 19 anywhere. Don't have any 20 or 32. Okay, so maybe not today, but I mean, we're just building the pot.
Yep, we'll be
We
back.
get 2 Badger 5 tickets though, so
Okay.
we can still win.
Yep.
Maybe we go Glazers, only Glazers for people. We're not going chickens if I win this Badger 5 here.
Lemon Glazers.
They have lemon Glazers?
Oh,
Yeah.
No, they got the Dunkers, right?
I'm sorry. Yes, the Dunkers.
Yeah, those are good. Okay, here we go. I got 4. Fuck. Okay, so
0 for 1.
Okay, you know what? No, I looked at them all, so I did it with the okay, so 4, 5, 11, 18, 23. No 4s.
Tough.
No 5s.
Fuck.
No 11s.
No.
No 18.
Shit.
And no 18s and 23. So I had 4 tickets and didn't match a single number. So
0 for
That
20.
sounds like me.
Okay,
I bought probably 15 to 20 tickets. I think I've matched 2 numbers my entire time.
I did buy scratch offs during it, and I was gonna do it during the show, but I
Yes.
realized there's too much to scratch. It would have been a nightmare. I recouped all the money. So
No.
we're at base 0.
We need to figure out how to do pull tabs on here.
Ooh. That could be a good thing for like fantasy. Ooh. Okay, this is what we'll do. For you're for the people watching, thank you. Please like it and subscribe. Like I want you to know you're in a boardroom here. You're in the meeting room with Genius right now. And Genius IG is just about to come out.
Brainstorming sesh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Get to the point.
Okay, Trevor's not just you, me, Luke.
All right, I'm here.
Whatever our guarantees hit this year, I'll
Right.
buy all the pull tabs.
Pull tabs.
For you and me. Again, Trevor does not get them. Maybe I'll buy the pull tabs. I'll keep the money for
Pull
him.
tabs.
But pull tabs, every time you get one right, you get a pull tab. I'll do it. And then, if, there's money, I'll send it to you.
Yep.
And I'm not kidding. Trevor lost privileges.
Yep.
Like, I'm truly done.
You know what you should do? Instead of giving Luke the money, you should put his money and see if he can build up enough to get that Kevin King mini helmet that one dude was selling.
I don't know why Trevor's talking about my money right now.
Yeah, it's a very interesting choice. He has a lot of ideas for your money.
Although that Kevin King helmet would be sick.
Would it?
Yeah. It was like $20. It was a mini helmet. Zach asked me if I wanted him to buy it for me. I said, I'm good.
What's the most you ever won on a pull tab?
500.
Nice.
What about you?
Mine's 99. Usually I put $20 worth in and I go 0 for 20.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. But I'm still chasing that high from the 500.
Yeah.
I'm for sure spent over that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I played pull tabs once to prove to my dad that they're a scam and you never win. Won $20. So that didn't work very well for me. You
know at bars where you can like sign in and if they pick your name you win the pot of money or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I missed my sign in last week.
Ooh.
$73.
That's pretty low. That's pretty pathetic.
The bartender Snapchatted me that night. I didn't open it till the morning. And when so I went in there. I'm like, all right, you're gonna break my heart when you tell me how much it is. And she goes, oh, it's only $73. I go, okay, great.
Yeah.
Which would be if I would have went in there and won that would have just been spent in the hour.
Yeah, for
sure. Yeah. If you get it, you're not leaving with it.
Right.
You're there for a good time. Again, people still watching, thank you. This is FlurrySports. Wherever you're watching, please subscribe, please like it. If you like us three personally, we have a fantasy football podcast called Fantasy Football by Committee. We have a Green Bay Packers podcast called Lombardi Sweep. Both will be live tomorrow night, right where you're watching this right now, 7 Central and 8 Central. So tune in for that. You can listen to both of them after the fact in audio podcast form, wherever you listen to audio podcasts as well. Read our stuffs on FlurrySports.org and Let's Go WI.com. Anything else you guys want to say before we get out of here? And again, we'll be back next week as well, immediately after Hard Knocks. So we'll do this every week.
Yeah, no, I'll just go out on this. Like Zach, I told you, Trevor, I don't know if you heard me, but like I just can't believe that Aaron Rodgers is not a Packer. It's I mean, like Zach said, it's kind of like, is this a settling in point? I think at least I'm getting there.
And if Rodgers, my last point, if Rodgers plays multiple years, if he does win multiple Super Bowls, this will go down as one of the worst trades of all time. Because, I mean, again, the main part of this trade was moving up 2 picks for a guy that was going to be there. So,
I mean, this feels to me like it doesn't even feel like the Tom Brady situation. It feels like the Peyton Manning Denver Broncos situation to me.
Yep.
So we will see. Joe, thank you for staying in the chat there. And my closing thoughts really quick. Like, to me, this is the start of football season.
Yeah.
Like, you hear that first chime or whatever of the Hard Knocks music. It might be the coffee that I drink while watching Hard Knocks, but I'm like fucking juiced right now. I'm ready to go. And again, please support the show, subscribe, because a lot of shit's coming. I'm very energized. I'm really juiced. And we'll be back tomorrow night. Same energy, same stupid shit we're saying now. We'll be back then. See you later.